If you've ever wondered why your riding position keeps changing, why one side feels stronger than the other, or why riding seems to be getting harder despite trying your best, this video is for you. One of the biggest misconceptions riders have is believing that the body they bring to the saddle is the body they were born with. It isn't. Your body is changing, adapting, and reorganizing itself every single day. And most of those changes happen so gradually, you never even notice them. I'm Claire from Rider Size, and I help riders understand how their body influences the way they ride. Because once you understand what's actually happening, improving it becomes much easier. If you find these videos helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment below. I'd love to know, what's one thing you've been told to change in your riding that never seems to stick? Let's get to it. Think about everything your body experiences outside of riding. Hours sitting at a desk, driving, looking down at your phone, carrying children, working on the yard, old injuries, broken bones, operations, stress, lack of sleep, even simply favouring one leg while standing. None of these things seem particularly significant on their own, but your body doesn't treat them as isolated events. It adapts. Because adaptation is exactly what the human body is designed to do. It constantly asks one question: what's the most efficient way for me to manage the demands being placed on me? And whatever the answer is, it repeats again and again and again, until eventually that becomes your normal. Here's the important part. Your body doesn't know whether an adaptation is good for riding. It only knows it has found a solution that works well enough for everyday life. Maybe your left hip became a little stiffer after an old injury. Perhaps your upper back gradually rounded from years at a computer. Maybe you've developed a habit of standing more on one leg than the other. None of those adaptations were created because you wanted to ride differently, but they changed how your body organises movement. So when you get in the saddle, you're no longer riding with a perfectly balanced system. You're riding with years of accumulated adaptations. This is why two riders can receive exactly the same instruction. Sit taller, keep your legs still, sit evenly, yet one rider improves almost immediately, while the other feels like they're fighting themselves every single stride. The difference isn't motivation, it isn't talent, it isn't because one rider listens better than the other. Their bodies simply have different movement histories, and those histories influence everything you do. One thing I hear all the time is, "But I never used to do this." Actually, you probably didn't, because adaptations happen gradually. They're rarely dramatic. They're small, tiny adjustments repeated thousands, sometimes millions of times. Until eventually one day you notice, my stirrups never seem even. I always collapse on this rein. My lower leg keeps moving. My horse feels different in one direction. The riding problem feels new, but the adaptation often isn't. It's simply reached a point where riding has exposed it. This is one of the reasons riders become frustrated. They spend all their energy trying to fix what they can see: the hands, the shoulders, the pelvis, the lower leg. But those visible changes are often the result of adaptations happening elsewhere. The body is incredibly good at finding another way. If one area can't do its job well enough, something else will step in. At first, that's helpful. Long term, it often creates even more movement strategies. Now, I want to be really clear. Adaptation isn't a bad thing. In fact, it's the reason we recover from injuries. It's how we become stronger. It's how we learn new skills. Without adaptation, we'd never improve at anything. The problem isn't that your body adapts. The problem is when it adapts in ways that no longer support the job you're asking it to do. And riding asks your body to do something incredibly demanding. It has to constantly absorb movement, reorganize itself, stabilize, and coordinate every stride your horse takes. If the foundation underneath that system has changed, your riding changes too. This is exactly why understanding your body matters. Because once you realise your body has been adapting for years and stop blaming yourself, you stop thinking, I'm just getting older, I'm not strong enough, I'm just not a good rider. Instead, you begin asking a much better question. What has my body adapted to, and what does it need to relearn? That's where lasting progress begins. If this way of thinking about riding is new to you, it's exactly what I teach inside the Rider Core mini course. Rather than jumping straight into exercises, we start by helping you understand how your body creates stability, why these adaptations develop, and why simply trying harder rarely solves them. Because understanding always comes before lasting improvement. I'll leave a link in the description below if you'd like to learn more. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and leave me a comment. I'd love to know. What adaptation do you think has influenced your riding the most? And in the next video, we're going to build on this by looking at what your body is actually doing every single stride you ride. Because it's far more complex than most riders realise. I'll see you there.